everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a little bit. After my 12 days of carry, I took a little break, took a few days off just to, get my life back together, got myself a haircut, and I'm back with a brand new video. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody who voted for me for the Gundy Awards. I made the top 4 in the category of most influential female, which is amazing. I can't believe it. The Gundy Awards show is going to be streaming on, I think it's January 22nd. I'll put the link below in case you want to watch it. I just feel really honored to be in the top 4. I think that's amazing, and I couldn't have done it without all of you. Today I wanted to talk to you about off-body carry. A few of you recently sent me a video that came out by Geauga Firearms Academy, and if you don't follow them, I'll include the link to their channel below as well, so you can go subscribe to their channel. And this video is focused on why you should not ever carry off-body. Some of you asked for my opinion, so here I am with my thoughts on it. So if you didn't see that video, the woman in the video, Kim, is talking about why she doesn't believe that off-body carry, so carrying in something like a purse, is ever okay to do because it's not realistic and it will get you killed or hurt or get someone else killed. As someone who carries off-body every once in a while, I wanted to come on here and share my thoughts with you guys and show you that it is possible to do it, but there is another side to it. And I don't ever like to say never. I don't like the word never because you don't know someone else's training, you don't know their equipment, and for me to tell you that you can never do something is just not really fair. So one thing they do in the video is that Kim has her partner run at her from 21 feet while she's turned around, and she has to draw her gun from her purse and point it at him before he can touch her. So I thought it would be fun if Mac and I recreated that with my concealed carry purse so that I could test whether or not it's really impossible to do. And for those of you who are not new here, you know that this is what I carry every day. It's my Smith & Wesson Shield. It doesn't have a magazine in it right now and it's empty. For this video specifically, I got a blue gun, so a plastic version of my gun. It's the exact same size and dimensions and everything, so that I could draw this from my purse and aim it at Mac and try to simulate getting a shot off at Mac before he can touch me. He's sleeping now because he worked overnight, but once he wakes up, I'm gonna take him outside and we're gonna give this a go. We're gonna do the same thing from 21 feet using my concealed carry purse so that we can see if I might have different results than Kim had. I also want to say that in the first video they did about this, she was carrying a gun in a holster inside just like a regular purse. So it took her a while to get it out. And she did mention in her follow-up video, the newer one, that she was going to use an actual concealed carry purse with a concealed carry pocket and try that test again. So she hasn't put that out yet. I'm curious to see what happens there, but I'm going to give it a go with my purse. Here's my concealed carry purse. I have a few of them, but this one is my favorite. I like to wear it crossbody like that, just a little more secure. It also has a wire running through the strap so that it can't be cut and taken away from you, which I will address because that is a legitimate concern. And it opens at the top, which is my favorite thing about this bag, I think. I don't really like the ones where it opens on the side as much, because with this one you can put your gun in it and just, I honestly walk around with this open. That's how I do it. It's a small opening, but if I needed to get my gun, I could just draw like that, or just keep your hand in your bag if you're in like a secluded parking lot or someone's creeping you out, which brings me to probably my most important point in this video, so pay attention. In that video, they mentioned your purse being taken away from you and then you basically just armed a criminal. And that is a very real concern that you should have if you carry off-body. One thing that they did not really talk about that I think is super important is situational awareness. And I've written a ton of notes that I want to mention to you guys, but I don't want this video to be like 3 hours long. So I am gonna do a follow-up video just about situational awareness, because I do teach a women's class all about situational awareness. I think it's so important, not just for women, but for everyone, especially if you carry a gun. You have a lethal tool on your body at all times. You need to be very aware of what's going on around you. On-body carry, being able to carry in a holster on your body, is still the #1 option. If you can do that, do that. But I do think that there are occasions where a purse might be your only option, and that has happened to me, and I would rather have my gun than not. So situational awareness is basically being aware of what's going on around you and paying attention. You see so many videos of people with their face in their phones and they fall into like a manhole or a fountain or a koi pond. And people just don't pay attention, and it can be really hard to do if you don't practice it all the time. So being aware of your surroundings can help you to stay out of a lot of dangerous situations that you might otherwise get yourself into. There is a certain method or psychology behind the way that a bad guy will choose a victim. And there was this really interesting study that was published in March of 1981. That was before I was born, but it's called Attracting Assault. Betty Grayson and Morris Stein conducted the study where they filmed people walking through a busy area of New York City, and then they would show this footage to criminals in jail. And they wanted to see if there was a common denominator among the people that were chosen as victims by the criminals. And they had some really interesting findings. I will try to find that study and link it below. But basically the gist of it is that people who were not chosen as victims had this, they called it an organized quality. They walked a certain way, they held themselves a certain way, they looked around, they were doing certain things with their bodies that the people who were chosen as victims were not doing. Or they weren't doing certain things that the people who were chosen as victims were doing. So body language is so important. Being aware of your surroundings, making eye contact with people, letting them know that you know that they're there is very important. And if you can teach yourself to be aware of your surroundings and pay attention to what's going on, don't put yourself into sketchy situations just because you have a gun. Not to say that nothing bad will ever happen to you, but it will greatly increase your chances of staying out of these situations if you practice good situational awareness in your day-to-day life. Based on that study, they found that it took criminals less than 7 seconds to figure out if they were going to victimize someone. So those cues that we're giving off with our body language and the way we walk and interact with our surroundings can make the difference between you being victimized and not. So I will do a more in-depth video about situational awareness soon, but that's really important and something that was not addressed in the video on why you shouldn't carry off body. Another thing that was not addressed in that video that I think is very important are non-lethal tool options. I always recommend to everybody to carry pepper spray, especially if you have a gun that you carry. If you have a gun and that's the only tool option you have, that is all you're gonna have to work with. So if a situation occurs where someone's trying to grab your purse from you or push you to the ground and take your purse, you can pepper spray them. That's an option. I always carry a pepper spray with me. This is my favorite one. It's by POM, P-O-M. I have a discount code if you guys want one. I'll link it below, but I just clip it to myself, my pocket, wherever I can get to it fast, and it's just so easy to carry. You can carry something like this by Saber, it's a little bigger. I like these as well. But having a non-lethal tool option, especially if you're carrying a gun, can be very, very helpful, especially in a situation like that, because they did talk about purse snatching, which is very important. I'll link some videos below by Active Self-Protection that show a few purse snatches so you can see what they actually look like. They can be very violent, you know, and something like that, if you have a non-lethal tool on your body, could really, really help you out. Especially if you have a gun in your purse, you don't want them running off with that. So I do agree, if you carry a gun in a purse, you do not want it taken from you. So make sure you have another way to deal with something like that if you can. I'll also link a video that you guys can watch. Maybe I can do it up here. I'll try to link it up here, where a woman does draw from a bag and uses it against a bad guy to defend a bunch of people successfully. So to say that it's never gonna happen is just not accurate. And I can see their point. I think it's really important to know the risks no matter which way you carry and to train accordingly. I'm gonna try to wrangle up Mac and we're gonna go outside and show you guys how fast I can draw on him from a purse. So we just simulated the scenario that I was talking about where Mac is 21 feet away from me. We brought out a rangefinder and marked 21 feet from him to myself. And the first draws you're gonna see are from my purse holster. I'm not touching it, so the second he says go, that's when I start to turn and point my gun at him, and I have to point my gun at him before he touches me.
Go! Go! Go!
Mila, it's okay.
Set, go!
So in these next clips, you're gonna see me drawing from one of my fastest draw holsters, which is my ultimate holsters with the fabric clip. right here. You'll see he comes at me here in these clips, and there's no real difference in timing as far as me getting my gun on him before he can touch me.
3 times.
They were both quick enough that I got my gun on him before he could touch me.
If you're talking about speed of draw and how important it is, then you got to throw away almost every pocket holster and ankle holster as well, because they're even slower than off-body carry. So shoulder holster, super slow. Ankle holster, super slow. Pocket holster, super slow. So if you're going to start throwing away holsters, you're going to throw away a boatload of carry options.
So what would happen if someone did snatch my purse? What does that usually look like?
All right, you never know because everybody's different, but a normal, a robbery where you use force to take something, bad guy's gonna sneak up on you to a close distance, like relatively close, well within 21 feet. He's going to be like right near you, I'd say like within 6 feet of you. He's gonna launch his attack for your item. So could be a computer bag, could be your purse, could be whatever you're carrying around. He's gonna take that item, and as he's like sprinting by you, he's gonna grab it. So like, it's like he grabs it on the run is what I've seen the most. He grabs it and he runs off. And he runs, when you see him off camera, he runs away. He's gonna run away from any witnesses of the crime and the victim of the crime. He generally is then gonna go somewhere where it's a little bit of a concealment area, behind a building, behind a dumpster. He's gonna rifle through your belongings. So he's gonna go through, in this case, your purse. He's probably gonna pull out your cash and any valuables you have. If you have a gun in there, he's gonna probably take your gun. And then he's gonna ditch the rest. So oftentimes, whenever we have a type of crime like that, we'll find the bag within like 100 yards of the attack, maybe 200 yards of the attack. We find it in the woods, we find it in a trash can, we find it in a dumpster, just kind of discarded. And then the valuable items, we generally never get back, or unless we find the guy in a very short period of time. I am a big fan of on-body carry. I believe that's the best way to carry. However, that being said, a firearm on you is better than a firearm at home if you need a firearm. If off-body carry is the best way for you to carry, given your lifestyle, your clothing options, all that stuff, that's better than not being armed at all, in my opinion. As far as like how this all plays out, you have to kind of look at the breakdown of the attack, right? So the speed in which you can draw from a holster and get an accurate shot on a target is not the most important factor, although most people would say it is. Even a lot of instructors would, kind of break it down by putting you on the range, having you draw from your concealment holster and seeing which holster's fastest for you and saying that's the best holster. Well, that's not necessarily the best holster. The biggest gap in time from the beginning of the attack is you knowing you need a gun and then getting it, right? That total time frame. If someone is attacking, I just ran at Stavroula like a bunch of times. If she spun around and saw me running at her, she can't legally draw and shoot me. So like the decision to just go for your gun is probably not necessarily a legal decision. It might be the smartest decision because it's more likely to give her a survival, but as far as like legal use of force, someone running at you you have to have some knowledge that they're going to attack you, that they're going to...
Someone might be running because they need help with something, like there was a car accident and they need you to call 911.
And even if they're running at you to steal your bag, you can't shoot them for that. It has to be a fear of death or serious bodily harm. We've talked about this before. You have to be able to identify that the person has the ability to cause death or serious bodily harm to you. They have to have the opportunity to do it. You have to feel your life is in imminent jeopardy and there's no other recourse, there's no other option. That's what you need to satisfy legally. So the idea that you're walking down the street and you turn around because someone's running at you and you being able to make the decision like that to draw and shoot them is not a reality. So that super fast draw to shoot is not as important as you being plugged in to your surroundings, you paying attention. So think of it this way. If you were wearing a fast draw rig, and I mean like super fast, the fastest rig that you own, it's like drop leg, IPSC style, just the gun's barely hanging on, all right? And you wear that gun all the time, and you just are walking around with that gun, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just run up to you, or I just say to you, draw! Out of nowhere, like you have no idea it's coming. How fast are you going to be? Compared to if I sit you on the range, and I say, hey, let's do some shooting, pull your gun and shoot when you hear this timer go off, beep, that like thing, You are plugged in. You know you're about to shoot. You're emotionally ready to shoot. You're ready to go. You have a target in mind, everything. You'll probably beat the fast draw person because they're not mentally ready. And it takes a while. Usually the gap in time from the attack to you responding to the attack is between 1 and 5 seconds. That's a long time. Right? If it takes you 1 second to identify that there's a lethal threat that you have to deal with, then you add that 1 second to your draw to shoot time. All right? If it takes you 3 seconds, add that to your draw to shoot. If it takes you 2 seconds to draw and shoot, and it takes 3 seconds to identify there's a threat, you are 5 seconds behind in that particular fight. So paying attention to your surroundings, having good understanding of what's going on, good situational awareness is far and away more important than the holster you choose as far as your fast draw goes. What Stav just did outside was I've never carried really any off-body. I have almost no off-body experience to tell you about other than people I know and their input on me. And when I teach ranges, I have students that carry off-body. And, you know, again, it's a range. Stand by, they know they're going to shoot. All right, so it's not a good understanding. What Stav just did was probably one of the better understandings I've been able to be involved in. And every time I ran at her, I looked down the muzzle of her blue gun. So she was fast with her on-body carry and she was fast with her off-body carry. So putting a tremendous amount of emphasis on that, like, I'm a half a second faster on-body than I am from, you know, an off-body from a purse rig. I think you're emphasizing the wrong numbers here. Paying attention and being aware of someone around you and being aware of your potential lethal threats versus non-lethal threats and having your mind wired that's ready to go so you're not completely caught by surprise is far and away a better and more practical skill to keep you alive than just saying I'm a half a second faster with an on-body holster than I am with an off-body holster. Get a gun and some tools on your, like, have them with you so that you have those options available. And if the purse carry or the off-body carry is the best option for you to have your tools with you, then that's the best option. Right? Practice, get fast. Stav's always lightning fast. She practices, she works at these things. I think you said something about never. I don't like the word never either. You can always do things with proper training and just go with what works best for you and practice and train.
I hope this was really helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I just want to reiterate that this is my opinion, this is what works for me, and everybody's different. So don't limit yourself based on what other people say is or is not possible. Try it out, find out for yourself whether or not you can actually use your defensive tools properly with your gear. With that said, I hope you all stay safe and I will see you next time. Bye!